Let's be honest. Money isn't hard because math is hard. Money is hard because being human is hard. Welcome back to Rich Girl Real Talk, where we talk about money in a way that actually makes sense. Today we're getting into why financial literacy actually matters, why there's a difference between buying and spending, and why your brain convinces you that you absolutely positively need things you didn't even want 5 minutes ago. And let me be real for a second. Every time I used to go out with my friends, I somehow ended up buying something. Whether it be food, clothes, jewelry, it didn't matter. I generally don't think there had been a single time I had gone out and not spent money. And anytime I got birthday money, like cash, gift cards, whatever, it was usually gone by the end of next week. If you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, that's literally me, then this episode's for you. Financial literacy isn't about being rich. It's not knowing spreadsheets, calculators, or knowing every investing term known to man. Financial literacy is about understanding how your money works, so it stops working against you. When you're financially literate, you know how to budget without hating your life. You understand debt before it traps you. You know how saving, investing, and compound interest actually work instead of just hoping future you will figure it out. And this matters way more than people talk about. A study done by the National Bankers Association found that financial stress is a major contributor to mental health issues like anxiety, insomnia, and depression, especially in today's economy. When our finances feel uncertain, our brain literally goes into fight or flight mode. I know when I'm low on money, I'm always stressed about how I'm going to pay for going out with my friends, or how I'm going to ask my parents for more allowance money. The good news is that managing your money, things like budgeting or tracking spending, can significantly reduce that stress. Without financial literacy, money feels chaotic. With it, money feels like a tool, and tools are powerful when you know how to use them. Now let's talk about something most people don't realize. Buying and spending are not the same thing. Spending is intentional, planned. It's aligned with your priorities. Rent, spending. Groceries, spending. Transportation, also spending. Buying, on the other hand, is emotional. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm so guilty of this. I'm a huge sucker for anything lemon flavored. I know, it's kind of weird. But the second I see lemonade, I suddenly feel like I need it. Not because I planned for it, not because I was thirsty, just because it's there and my brain goes, yes, buy it. That's buying. Buying is what happens when your brain is bored, stressed, influenced, or just walking around with your friends and something catches your eye. Buying feels good in the moment. Spending feels good later. And the problem is that we live in a world where everything is marketed as essential. That lemonade turns into a treat yourself. That random purchase becomes I deserve it. And listen, I'm not anti-fun, but when every want turns into a need, saving money becomes almost impossible. So next time you're about to buy something, pause and ask yourself, is this intentional spending or is this just an impulse buy? That one question alone can completely change your finances. Now let's get into the psychology, because this is where it gets really interesting. One of my favorite books on this topic is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. One of its biggest takeaways is that money decisions are not always rational, they're emotional. Here's what's happening in your brain. When you want something, your brain releases dopamine, the molecule of motivation. Not happiness, want. Dopamine shows up before you buy the thing. It's all about the anticipation. And I'll give you a real example from my own life. For the longest time, I wanted AirPods, not because I actually needed them, but because everyone else in my school had them. They felt like the symbol of fitting in. I eventually got them for my 13th birthday, and I was so excited. But after I got them, I barely used them, maybe once every 6 months. At that age, I honestly had no real use for them beyond the occasional time I wanted to listen to music in public. That's dopamine at work. The excitement wasn't about the AirPods, it was about the expectation of having them and how they would make me feel. And here's what impulse buying becomes a real problem. When we keep chasing that dopamine hit, we can end up buying more than we actually make. That's how credit card debt starts. That's how people end up in debt in general. Not because they're irresponsible, but because impulse buying adds up. The truth is, we can't get rid of impulse buying 100%. It's part of human nature. Our brains are wired to want things, especially when they promise comfort, confidence, and belonging. But being financially aware doesn't mean never impulse buying. It means questioning your impulses. It means pausing and asking, is this a real need or am I just chasing a dopamine hit? A want versus a need. When you understand this, you don't eliminate impulse buying, but you reduce it. And that reduction can be the difference between feeling in control of your money and constantly wondering where it all went. This is also why two people making the same amount of money can end up in completely different financial situations. One understands their psychology, the other lets impulses make decisions for them. Which one do you want to be? So how do we stop letting our brains hijack our wallets? First, delay purchases. Dopamine fades fast. If you still want something after 24 or 48 hours, it's probably intentional. If not, congratulations, you just saved some money. Second, name the emotion. Ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? Bored, stressed, trying to keep up? Awareness kills impulse spending. Third, budget for fun on purpose. Financial literacy doesn't mean never enjoying your money. It means deciding ahead of time what you're okay spending, so you don't feel guilty or broke later. And finally, keep learning. Read books, listen to podcasts like this one, and follow people who teach money without shame. Financial literacy isn't about restriction. It's about freedom. Freedom from stress, freedom from impulse, freedom to use your money to build the life you actually want, not the one advertisers tell you you want. If this episode helped, follow the podcast for more real, no-fluff money conversations. And if you want to go deeper into the mindset behind money, I highly recommend The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. It's a game changer. Thanks for listening, and that's Rich Girl Real Talk.